What's good, YouTube? Back with another video. In today's video, I'm bringing to you my Take Profit Trader 50K Road to Funded Challenge. I'm going into this challenge with a different approach than I typically would when it comes to prop firm trading. Usually for me personally, I'm a lot more aggressive, just trying to get through the challenge as fast as possible, move on to the sim funded account, with supply and demand being pretty much the foundation of structure. In conjunction with supply and demand, like today, this is London high. So pre-market high low, previous day high low, like I told you, this would have been a phenomenal trade. A stop loss 3.25 points or something like that above the level. Look at this move. Engulfing candle engulfed all of London, all of Asia. That bearish engulfing candle did, and pushed all the way to a low of day where this line is drawn. Is last Thursday we had a demand zone to the T. No candles closed below this level. Definitely wick below, but no candles closed below. And then 10 a.m. reversal, if you know, price consolidated, but a big move made to this level here, even further. If they sat through it, you've seen this high day almost testing. I'm pretty sure this is our 15-minute orb. I view trading as, especially when it comes to strategies, everybody may be using a different vehicle, but essentially there's destinations that countless individuals, although different vehicles, may be traveling to the same place. For consistency purposes and for, again, just that overall structure to your trading plan, that is something over the last 6 months that I wanted to pretty much dial it in, focus on what really I've seen out of all of those things: supply and demand, your major key levels of liquidity on the chart, and that's reactionary, whether you have a rejection, break and retest, the orb that could be 5-minute or 15-minute for me, and then fair value gaps. Those are the things that I'm looking for, with supply and demand practically being the structure and foundation. And what I've noticed is, often because I'm aware of those other things that I'm willing to take trades off of, usually I will see it within a supply and demand setup. And so these things allow me, more importantly, to have a more defined risk to reward game plan, but more often than not, be able to set my stop loss at levels where price can potentially reject from, but also have the confidence to get in at levels where some may view it as a counter trend trade or whatever the case may be, because I'm level to level given these different types of strategies. We're in and out of these trades, and you can know when to put on a little bit more risk versus when we need to de-risk. So those are the 4 categories that I've found for me have been very successful and consistent, but also, again, with supply and demand kind of being the structure, the foundation. Today will be just a trade recap, and then the remaining days there could be, whether it's London, Asia session, pre-market New York, maybe a couple of live trades, so to speak, kind of in real time trades. And again, just talk a little bit through the trades, the mindset, what I was looking for, what I noticed, even if some of the trades, don't go in my favor. We'll try to share all of that throughout the next 5 days. Different approach. I'm not going to rush it. I want to trade the challenge as if I'm in a sim funded account. You have trailing drawdown. That is the biggest, I guess, hurdle for a lot of individuals who trade with Take Profit Trader, or even if you just trade with a prop firm that has trailing drawdown. It is major. It can definitely have impact on your trading plan, your strategy. I've been fortunate enough to get payouts from Take Profit Trader, so I realized that it was slept on. Definitely something that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. And by the way, I'm not affiliated with Take Profit Trader, Top Step, none of those. I'm just sharing my experience with these prop firms. But yes, you have trailing drawdown in your sim funded account with Take Profit Trader, but once you can reach your buffer amount, it stops. That being said, you now essentially have a static account. So you can build on top of whatever, your buffer amount is. And I could take it to, let's say for a 50K account, from 2,000, I can go 3,000, I can go 4,000, 5,000. They recently made a change that states they will have end of day drawdown. More people than not won't even get to a pro account, let alone a pro plus account. So most people won't even be able to take advantage of that change. Hopefully that's something they change in the future, but I realize with all prop firms, there's advantages and disadvantages. That is one slept on thing that I think I realized out of, trading various different prop firms. And then in addition to the fact that once you hit the buffer amount, you can take daily payouts. Your account doesn't reset. Once you're over the buffer amount, that is your drawdown. I could literally take daily payouts. I can go for base hits. I can close out 200, 500, 1,000, whatever the case may be. I can skip a couple of days, and let some stack up and then take a payout at the end of the week or something like that at any of these payouts, 80-20 split. But those two things alone, the static account, essentially when you hit your buffer amount, and then the fact that you're not blowing the account once you take a payout. Some of these prop firms, you can reach a buffer amount for some of these prop firms, and they'll tell you can only take 50% out. Or you can take a payout, but if you're not over a certain threshold, you potentially risk blowing the account. So again, neither here nor there. We're going a more in-depth, maybe comparison video in the future. My experience, again, everybody has their prop firm of choice. I'm simply sharing my experience. We're gonna talk through over the next 5 days, some of these trade recaps, but I think what's most important and gonna be very beneficial and a lot of value added to individuals out there who have issues with or struggle when it comes to the end of day drawdown versus trailing drawdown is really, for me personally, identifying the things that I had done to get these payouts with Take Profit Trader, but more importantly, create a solidified plan of action around that strategy. So we'll talk more about that. Again, that's hopefully the next series within this 5 days. Today's day one. We'll take each day as a normal day of trading. Today was a great day, 15.10 on the day. Today's trade was a demand setup. So based on this particular candle here at 10.20, we had break of structure, a little bit of consolidation here. We finally get back to the zone, and they did test the midpoint. That's what this box is, this entire zone, top of the wick and the bottom of this candle here. The preferred did get tested, so that's just that midpoint. That is usually where I would like to enter, but we had to wait because with all of this movement here, and we have this zone down here, this is initially what I felt like could be, this was current price action, but this could potentially be a move. So you have to worry about that when it comes to supply and demand. And that's why I wanted to integrate a few other things that I've found work for me. Some people are strictly just supply and demand, nothing wrong with that. But those 4 things, like I said earlier in the video, they work for me. I've seen them play out time and time again. So I have a structure and foundation for supply and demand, but if I see any of those other things and it's A+, I'm willing to take the trade off of it because I have seen them play out. And a lot of times I can use it again as confluence. This was another confluence. So I just talked about fair value gaps. This was a bullish fair value gap, this zone here. You have this wick here and this wick here. This would have been somewhere around here, would have been the midpoint. So 2 in 1, essentially supply and demand being the foundation, but pairing that with this bullish fair value gap, this level held. And so we entered in on this candle. We had this candle close, had to wait a little bit because like I said, with all of that, we risk it coming on down to this zone. And once we noticed this candle close pretty much with a lot of momentum, showing that, okay, hey, there's some buyers here, although still a bearish candle, that was good to see that price did come down here and we closed up here. So I entered, stop loss slightly outside of this level. I was risking like 1,200 and my take profit was around 1,590. Retested again, but again, the zone held. Stop loss was like 3.25 out of this zone. This held pretty good. And once we got that push, my target was literally this level here. Why is that? Again, and I'm telling you, everything goes hand in hand when it comes to how we get to where we're going on the chart. Price is going somewhere. Where do you enter? Where do you exit? I want to go level to level because it gives me the best opportunity to ensure that if I have a take profit, does get hit. This was the only level that I was targeting. And to the T, we hit it. But my reasoning behind that is because we had all of this price action here. 1035 candle. This one slightly closed below, but it doesn't count. Really, no candles closed below this level with strong price action, leading all the way from that 1035 candle to 1220. We finally did break below. We went into this demand zone. We went into this and level to level. I just wanted to take it to this level here because once acted as support, so what does that mean now? It's going to be resistance. So that was my target just to get there. And to the T, we were able to accomplish that. Very solid trade on the day. A lot of moves to be made out of that level we had. And I used to do this. Look at that. If you know, you know. A bull flag there. Straight movement up. Eventually, I know that they wanted to test, which they got close. I still think there's so many orders right at this level, even though sometimes you do get filled right outside the zone. So I feel like price eventually is going to want to go up and test that. We still have this zone here that I know we likely have a lot of orders, whether that's low of day or even this demand zone in general. That's a wrap on today's video. Like the video. If new, hit the sub button. Make sure to enable notifications to stay updated for when the next video drops. Level up your trading, level up your mind. Most importantly, level up your life. Till next time.